Hey guys, welcome back. So, if you take a look at what we have on our screen right now, we actually have this submit function which I added. And this submit function is actually taken from my React.js app because I also have the web app. I made the web app first before I started making this mobile app. And if you're wondering about this code, then I'll give you props because you should be wondering. You should be always questioning the code and whether it is justified or validated in the project you're working on. So this code actually gives us the structure that we want to use. We want to have a submit so that when the user type in their email and their password and they click login, this function actually gets hit. But this won't actually be the function that we'll use. And actually, the function itself that we will end up using will not be this big. It'll actually just be 3 lines. So, for today's video, I'm just going to give you a little bit of an insight of how we do things in a web app versus a mobile app. Now, you should take note that the first thing that we did here is, well, we did call out variable self and take that as this. And we don't really need to do that in a mobile app, so that's going to disappear. We did take our email so that we get our email from values, and this is when a form gets submitted on the web app. We might have cases where the user has accidentally typed spaces before or at the end of their email. So we wanted to do .trim in order to trim the white space. And in our web app, we actually have a login form and a sign in form. And we actually have a state, the show login form, that kind of, if you press a button, then it'll either turn true or false. And but depending on that true or false will actually show the login form or the sign up form. Now, this one here, this props login user attempt, that is actually part of Redux Saga, which we'll probably talk about if we have the time in another future video. And that is pretty much the if statement to show the login form and to allow the user to log in. Now this else part is completely different. It's for making an Ajax call whenever the user has forgotten their password and they need to reset it. So we take the endpoint for resetting the password, that's the URL that we will use, and we take their email as the data to post, and we do a XHR field with credentials because it's going to be a cross-domain call. So our API, for example, is hosted on port 3001 and our app is hosted on port 3000. So that is the cross-domain. They're not on the same domain. That's an example of them being in 2 different domains. So that's why we have those 2 attributes there. And when they're done, then we would want to throw them back to the login form, and then we set a state of showing that the password email has been sent. So otherwise, if it fails, then we just tell them that there isn't an account associated with that email, which means that the email they gave us is invalid. So this is a little bit of an example of what we have, or what I have in my web app for Dancing Nomads. For Dancing Nomads Mobile, it's not going to be that complicated because we're not going to have the password reset feature. And the reason for that is if you have, and this is aside from coding, but it's really more of an efficiency problem, where if you have a feature that is completely functionable in your web app, then you should make use of it so you don't have to redo your work twice. You can just have a link in your mobile that if they click that link, they'll throw them outside of your mobile app, throw them to your web app so that they can reset their password easily. And that is just a low cost feature that you can have on your web app to take care of both the web app side and the mobile app side of resetting your password for a user. So I hope you got something from that video. This is just a way of thinking in terms of being a developer as well, so that if you can cut corners, not to say that cutting corners is a really good thing, but if you can cut corners with the cost or risk being very minimal, then you should consider doing it. Which in this case, the person or the user just needs to reset their password. That's an easy thing that everybody has. The idea, the flow along it is not completely complex or anything like that. So it's easy for us to just leverage the web app to use that to reset the password whenever the user needs to reset the password. And we just take them from the mobile app outside of the web app, reset their password, and bring them back to the mobile app again, since they'll probably have it open as well. So anyways, that's a really short video of this submit function, which is right now just a skeleton, but we will give it a massage later on to make it into a small function that when our login button is clicked, the submit function is hit, and we run this login user attempt to login the user. Anyways, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please rate, comment, subscribe if you really enjoyed this video, and also check out our Medium post, because every single episode will have a Medium post along with the references that we used, which today we haven't used any. So please rate, comment, subscribe, and join us on our mailing list, because you'll get some assets that goes along with this series to help you chug along with your learning. Anyways, I'll see you guys later.